yeah, I have been wearing wigs and coloring my hair for like the past 5-ish videos, so it's nice that we finally get to see my hair in its natural habitat again. But yeah, what is up my dudes, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, what's up? I am one creative ginger, and in this house we have salty takes and emotional rants over fictional media, all while wearing the most amazing makeup you've ever seen in your entire life, and that is a fact. So, does that sound like fun? Well, how about helping a bitch out by clicking that subscribe button, and if you find at least one of your brain cells enjoying at least a millisecond of this video, why not hit the like button too? So yeah, so I finally sat down and actually watched the first season of The Mandalorian. The second season I will watch, and that will probably be the next video that's gonna come out, but yeah, I'm a little late to the party because, you know, The Mandalorian's been out for a hot minute. So to kick it off, we got the first episode, which obviously is going to introduce the Mandalorian, and it's just him fucking up this whole cantina because he's after a target, and so he then ends up freezing the target in carbonite, which was pretty crazy to watch. I liked that. I thought that was pretty cool. And then, of course, he's going to pick up the bounty so he can go find Baby Yoda, of course. And the guy who puts the bounty out for him offers Mando just like a shit ton of Beskar metal, which he definitely needs because the armor he's wearing right now is absolute shit. So, you know, he could use some actual Mandalorian armor, you know? So he's got a lot of incentive to go after this target. So, you know, he goes to the planet that Baby Yoda's supposed to be on, and this guy named Quill helps him out. And I really like Quill. He's very nice, and I hope nothing bad happens to him, you know? Yeah, so Mando and this IG-11 unit who ends up appearing, they team up and they take out all the dudes that, you know, are standing in the way of their bounty, right? But, Mando decides, nah, we're not gonna kill Baby Yoda because the IG wants to shoot him, so of course he shoots the IG unit and then he saves Baby Yoda and they have their cute little finger moment, and it's great. Yeah, and then of course the second episode is where Mando finds that his ship has been taken apart by fucking Jawas. I don't know how to feel about them. They annoy the shit out of me, but they're also really kind of cute. And this whole scene where he's fucking them up, but then they're fucking him right back, was really fun to watch. It was a very interesting little scene that they had going on. I really liked that. It was a fun one to watch. So he goes back to find Quill, and then Quill's like, okay, well, if you get them this disgusting hairy egg of a mudhorn that they're apparently going to eat, which was really fucking gross, but he's like, if you can find that for them, they'll give you back all your ship parts. So of course he does that, but the mudhorn fucks him up, obviously, because, you know, he's got shit armor, and who else knows? It's a goddamn mudhorn. Like, the thing was fucking crazy. But like, it tries to kill Mando, but Baby Yoda ends up saving him, and, you know, makes the little mudhorn levitate, and then Mando just kills him with like a really small knife to the neck, which was really weird. I don't know why that's what killed the mudhorn, but then that's what happened. Which, I don't know. I was still kind of weirded out that he just stabs the mudhorn in the neck with like a really small knife, and then that's it. So I guess that was just the only weird thing about that. But he ends up killing the mudhorn, and they get the ship put back together, and then he's able to, you know, leave the planet with Baby Yoda, and it's great. Except, you know, then we move on to episode 3, where Mando gives up Baby Yoda, and Baby Yoda's just kind of like, I thought we were friends, come back, what's happening? And it's really sad, but, you know, Mando gets his Beskar medal, and he, you know, does feel bad about giving up Baby Yoda. So, you know, once he actually, you know, goes to the Mandalorian blacksmith, and she makes him all this cool armor, you know, he goes back to save Baby Yoda from the client, and he ends up fucking up just a bunch of really gross stormtroopers. They were just, I don't know, they were just dirty, and they also had their weird jiggly cod pieces just flapping around. It was, I don't know, it was ridiculous. I was not a fan of how these stormtroopers were looking. So he saves Baby Yoda, but of course the trouble doesn't end there, because then all the bounty hunters are alerted, because every single one of them has the little Baby Yoda tracker. They obviously see that he's moving, and so they all go after him, and they all see Mando with him, and then, you know, chaos ensues. But luckily, the Mandalorians back up Mando, and they're like, hey, get the fuck out of here with it, we got you. And that's how that episode ends. So yeah, they help him escape. Very nice. Then we have episode 4, where Mando and Baby Yoda escape to just this random planet where they're gonna lay low because it's out of the way, you know. So they end up meeting Cara Dune, who has the most amazing arms. I loved looking at her arms. They are just mwah, gorgeous. I love it. So she ends up joining Mando and helping this random village defend themselves against a group of raiders who have been stealing all of their shrimp because they are shrimp farmers. So, you know, obviously they're not too happy about that, but they don't know how to defend themselves, so. But yeah, and of course, the worst thing to ever exist in the Star Wars universe had to show up, and you know what that is? A goddamn AT-ST. Those things are the creepiest little shits I've ever seen in my goddamn life. I hated them in the original trilogy, but oh, somehow this show made them even more creepier. Like, you know, we only saw them in the daytime in the original trilogy, and they were still creepy as hell, but, you know, the CGI wasn't really there, so, you know, they were a little janky, so you are obviously like, okay, yeah, that's a thing. So, apparently making them way more lifelike in this show, yeah, just made it even creepier, because I thought being really janky and weird would make it creepier, but somehow making it act way more lifelike, because it does, like, it like looks down and shit, it looks around, it acts like it's alive, which, you know, makes sense because there's someone in there controlling it, so that, you know, it makes sense that they kind of need to see where to go, so they need to see out through those little glowy eye things, which I hate so much. So, you know, it's bending over so they can look through the actual viewfinder. It was the worst. It was the worst. And especially that scene where, you know, it's doing the little swoopy thing as it's walking through. It was just... No, no, I did not like that. You get that freaky shit out my face right now, because I was not having that with that goddamn thing. It was... No. Too alive. It acted way too much like it was a living thing. I was not... I was not having that. That was not fun. So, you know, I'm glad that they ended up fucking it up, and, you know, everything was fine, because, you know, they got rid of the raiders and all that, so it's like, yay, you know, no more AT-ST to look like that. It had no business looking that goddamn creepy. Not a fan of that thing, so, you know, of course I'm happy that Mando and everyone else ended up fucking it up, and, you know, the raiders as well, so, you know, now they are not messing with the villagers anymore, so that's great. Yay. But yeah, so now that everything's fine, Mando's like, oh, I should leave Baby Yoda here, you know, with the villagers, because it'll be a nice life for a little child. But of course, a bounty hunter ends up tracking him down, but they kill him, and, you know, they're just like, well, you know, we can't leave him here, because the bounty hunters are just gonna keep coming, because they all have the little tracker thing, and they're all tracking Baby Yoda that way. So it's like, Mando's gotta bring him with. So then we get to episode 5 and 6. So yeah, I don't know. I was not a huge fan of either of these episodes because they were just kind of meh to me. We have episode 5 where Mando helps a new bounty hunter go after Fennec Shand, who's this like crazy good bounty hunter, which is interesting because the way I was introduced to Fennec was in the Bad Batch when she was just like this up and coming bounty hunter, you know, so it was kind of weird to see like her beginning and then her like supposed end, because I doubt she's dead. Come on. They hyped her up to be like this super badass bounty hunter, so it's like, she's not gonna be dead. Like, let's be real. It was fine. You know, it's just, yeah, it was kind of just like really brief. Like, it was just this one thing happening. It was just them going after Fennec, and then Fennec dying, and then that one new bounty hunter being like, hey, fuck you, Mando. That kind of thing. And then, of course, Mando killing him because fuck that guy. I don't know, it didn't really interest me that much. It just made me go like, it just really seemed like they were setting up Fennec to come back later, you know. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, she's a thing. She'll be back because she's not really dead. That's the vibe I got from it, really. But like, Yeah, and then episode 6 was just really random because Mando just joins this rescue mission with like some shady individuals he's apparently fucked over in the past, because that's what it really sounds like, you know, and apparently the guy that they're saving is in prison because of Mando, so it's like, okay, yeah, I didn't like those characters. Like, I know they're, you know, shady assholes, you're not supposed to really like them, but like, they were actually, you know, they had potential to be interesting, and the way it ends, it kind of sets up like they're gonna come back at some point in the future, because, you know, Mando doesn't really actually kill them, even though it's kind of implied that he does, but he doesn't, you know. But yeah, it's just, that was another one where they just introduced all these characters and then just really didn't have the time to do anything with them. It was just, yeah, I don't know. It was a weird one too. Like, the only scene I liked was when they were in the control room and everyone was pointing their guns at each other, and then that one crazy chick who I couldn't stand her. She did the whole crazy shtick way too much. Like, it got to a point where I was just like, does she not have like any other personality traits? Like, that was literally it. She's just crazy. That's it. Like, we don't know why. Like, it was just, yeah, I don't know. Because I wanted to like her, because I do like those characters that tend to be a little on the psychotic side, you know? So her part in that scene I really did like, because she did have this little shift where she actually wasn't being psychotic, because that whole scene in the control room actually gave all these new characters some sort of character development. I mean, you know, we got to see, you know, who's empathetic, who's apathetic, that kind of thing. So it was interesting that they put that scene in there, because I think it helped with those characters a lot more, because, yeah, with the rest of the time, they're just, like, running around trying to find the control, or where the prisoner's being kept, and then they're just kind of, like, not really doing a whole much for their, you know, character development, you know? So it was nice to actually get a scene where we got to see their personalities a little more, and, you know, besides the whole, like, shtick that they all have. Yeah, I don't know, they just, these two episodes weren't, like, the worst. I just wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to either of these episodes, because I was just kind of sitting there going, like, okay, yeah. I mean, I guess the episode 6 kind of went on a little bit longer than I would have liked, because, yeah, I found myself being like, okay, can this end already? It's getting a little long. But the one with Fennec, episode 5, that one did seem a little short. Like, it did seem like it went a little quick, which was weird, because yeah, there was a lot of just, like, sitting around and talking. Oh, actually, I totally forgot, but episode 5, they actually do talk to, like, the Tusken Raiders, and they, like, negotiate and shit. That was actually really cool that we got to see something like that, so we get to see that, hey, you know, you can talk to the Tusken Raiders. They're not just gonna, like, murder you on the spot, because they just kind of, like, pop up and they're like, hey, what are you doing? And Mando's like, yo, can we can we get passage through this desert? And they're like, give us the goggles and you're good. Or the binoculars, I think. Something like that. But yeah, like, they had, like, this whole trade scene, which was really cool, because, you know, there was no fighting with the Tusken Raiders for once, which was actually really cool. Yeah, I'm glad I remember that, because that was actually, I liked that little scene a lot, too, because we got to see some more little Star Wars lore, so we actually got to see what's going on. Yeah, I did like that. So there were little bits and pieces in these two episodes that I did like, but, like, overall, the episodes were all kind of, like, they just gave me weird vibes. I don't know. There was just kind of, like, things where I was like, meh, you know? A little on the boring side, maybe, but it's like, I don't know. With, like, how quickly they were able to capture Fennec, and then her dying, supposedly, that was a little like, what the fuck? She's supposed to be, like, a crazy badass who's really hard to capture, because she's got this huge bounty on her, so it was kind of, that was kind of weird. That it was just so easy to catch her, which again makes me think that this episode was just to set up, you know, this whole, like, reveal that, oh, Fennec's not dead, surprise, you know, who would have thought, right? But yeah, I don't know what episode 6 was. It honestly felt like a filler episode, because, like, why did he help break out a prisoner that apparently was in prison because of him? And why is it, I don't know. It was weird. But We did learn in that episode that apparently the helmet stays on during sex, so we know that now. So now we're at the 2-part season finale where Greef, the guy who gave Mando like his little bounty hunter pucks, you know, all his little targets in the beginning and shit like that, like we've seen him before, you know. So he ends up contacting Mando and is like, I need your help because we need to kill the client, because the client, after Baby Yoda was stolen, he's like, I gotta get a bunch of stormtroopers here, so it's just completely overrun with stormtroopers, and he's like, hey, I want my city back because it's kind of hard to do bounty hunter shenanigans with all these stormtroopers around, and so, you know, if you help me, then the client's out of the picture, so no one's gonna come after Baby Yoda now, so it's a win-win for both of them, right? So, yeah, Mando agrees, and he ends up bringing Cara Dune and Quill with him as backup, because he's smart. So they all get attacked by these, like, pterodactyl things, and Greef ends up badly injured, but Baby Yoda ends up healing his little scratch wound, so that was very nice of him. Turns out Greef was actually going to betray them because he has, like, his other little bounty hunters that followed him, but he ends up killing those bounty hunters and is like, hey, this is what was up, but, you know, after Baby Yoda healed me, I had a change of heart, which is very nice of him. I like that. So, they end up pretending that Greef and Cara had captured Mando, and they end up bringing him to the client with the little Baby Yoda carrier, except there's no Baby Yoda in there because Quill ends up taking him back to the ship, so he's safe. Yeah, so of course, Moff Gideon shows up, and he shoots up the place that, you know, they're meeting the client because he's had enough of that client shit. So, you know, he kills the client, he kills all the stormtroopers, but Mando and everyone else survives, so that's good. So Gideon ends up giving Mando an ultimatum and being like, hey, you know, you can surrender or be killed, you know, pick your poison, that kind of thing. And, you know, they have till the end of the day to choose that. But unfortunately, during this whole thing, when Mando's trying to contact Quill and be like, hey, you need to get the fuck out of here as soon as possible, you know, these 2 troopers on speeders end up overhearing that conversation, so they speed off, and they and yeah, so they end up killing Quill and taking the child, so that was really fun that was a thing. But yeah, so to finish this off, we have the last episode where it starts off with just this hilarious, like, conversation with the 2 troopers on the speeder bikes who killed Quill and now have Baby Yoda stuffed in a bag. There's just the banter that they have during this scene is so fucking hilarious. I loved it so much. This has to be the best scene in the whole entire show, if I'm being honest. It was just so, oh, it was so great. And we got to see, you know, the whole dynamic within, you know, the stormtrooper ranks. It was so funny. But, like, you know, they're punching poor little Baby Yoda who's just stuffed in this bag, and it's just it's so funny because then these little assholes get what's coming to them, because then IG-11 shows up, who Quill actually ended up programming because it's the same one that Mando killed, but Quill reprogrammed him to be like this whole, like, nanny serving droid kind of thing, like, you know, he serves tea and shit, you know, but now he's a nanny to Baby Yoda, so he ends up showing up and fucks up these 2 troopers for being little assholes to Baby Yoda, and then he's safe, and everything's good. For now, at least, you know, but yeah, so IG-11 ends up coming to Mando's aid, and he starts just shooting down stormtroopers with Baby Yoda in his little backpack. It was very cute. So he just starts fucking people up. So, of course, you know, they all start fighting, but then Mando ends up getting fucked up by Gideon, so then they all have to retreat back into the little, like, cantina room, I think that's what it was. Anyway, they get pushed back into where they were originally, and Mando's like, we need to escape through the sewers because that's the only way we can really escape at this point. So, you know, IG makes that happen. But this whole time, Mando's being a fucking dramatic ass bitch and is like, you know, leave me, I'm dying, you know, I'm not worth bringing with, you know, I'll just slow you down. And then, you know, of course, after Cara and Greef leave down the sewers with Baby Yoda, IG stays and heals Mando rather quickly. Like, he's able to get up rather quickly, and, you know, during this scene, you know, IG actually takes off his helmet for the first time, so we get to see his face, and he's all healed now, so he can stop being so fucking traumatic. Holy shit, that whole scene, I was like, you're not gonna die, come, stop. What are you doing? It was, yeah, it was, I don't know, it was a little funny, because it was just kind of like, of course he's not gonna die, like, what are we doing? You know? So, of course, he rejoins Cara and Greef, and then they end up finding a pile of Mandalorian armor. So that's not great. Luckily, the blacksmith is still alive, and she's, you know, smelting down all this abandoned armor, and she's actually able to give Mando his little mudhorn signet, which is really cute, and she ends up telling him that Baby Yoda has to be returned to his own kind, and that Mando's technically his father, which was cute, 'cause she literally says that, you know, you must act as his father or some shit like that. She literally says father to Mando, so I thought that was cute. Aw. But yeah, he also gets a jetpack, which is very cool, because yeah, I was like, when's he gonna get a jetpack? Because that's like a very Mandalorian thing, right? So, and oh, yeah, something interesting. This whole time, no one knows what a Jedi is, because, yeah, they've kind of been dead for a while, so obviously they're not going to remember. But it was weird, because even the Mandalorians don't remember. But the blacksmith, I'm pretty sure it's her that says that. She brings up the Jedi by name and is like, you know, they were, you know, enemies of the Mandalorians once, and, you know, this might be what this creature is, you know, it might be a Jedi, you know, but we should help him because he's not trying to kill us, that kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. It was interesting, because yeah, the Mandalorians specifically made their weapons to fight against Jedi, so I thought that was interesting that even they themselves forgot about the Jedi and just were kind of like, we're a thing now, you know. But obviously, you know, they're in damage control right now, because their whole culture has just been like fucked up. Like, I don't know what happened to Mandalore, but like, I'm pretty sure that's not their home world anymore or something. Yeah, I don't quite remember, but yeah, there was this whole thing about the Mandalorians just getting straight fucked. And so basically they're kind of just existing and trying to survive, you know. So obviously they're going to forget about the Jedi, because they're not a problem anymore. They haven't been for decades at this point. But like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, that might be what Baby Yoda is, so go return him to his kind. That kind of thing. So that's cute. That seems to be what Mando's thing is going to be in the second season. Well, they're able to escape through a lava river, and IG-11 ends up self-destructing in order to take out a squad of troopers, you know, that are waiting to shoot them down on the other side of the lake, you know. But yeah, so he ends up protecting Baby Yoda and everyone else by exploding and killing all the stormtroopers. So yeah, I like that very much. It was sad, but fuck them up, right? But like, oh, it does, yeah, you think it would end there, but it doesn't, because of course Gideon, yeah, he ends up trying to take him out with, I'm pretty sure it's a TIE fighter, but Mando ends up using his jetpack for the first time, and he places an explosive on it, and then it takes out the ship, and everything's good. You know? Yeah, so Mando and Baby Yoda leave, and Cara stays with Greef to be his new enforcer, so that's pretty cool. She got a new job now. But, of course, Gideon isn't dead, you know, even though he crashed his ship. He's not dead. Of course he's not. And we also see that he's got the dark saber with him. So that's interesting. And that's where the season ends. Honestly, this was a really fun season. And just show in general, like, I definitely want to see more. Like, I want to see what happens. Like, is Mando going to find out what Baby Yoda's species is, and is he going to be able to, you know, return him to his home planet? Something I noticed, it has concept art when they roll the credits, which is the coolest fucking thing ever, because I love concept art. That is my absolute shit. So I really enjoyed watching those end credits where you just get to see all the concept art for the episode you just watched. It was so cool. I really liked that, and I'm really glad that that was a thing that they decided to do, because it's like, yeah, what was the, you know, concept of this episode? Like, what was its, you know, supposed to look like in its early stages, that kind of thing. So I liked that that was a thing that they added, and the music was really fun to listen to too, because it was very, very Western themed, which I really love Westerns, so I'm really glad that that was a thing. But yeah, and also just like the whole time, the whole theme of this entire show was like no one knew what the fuck a Jedi was, so whenever Baby Yoda did weird shit, they were all just kind of like, what? You know? Because they were all just kind of like, kind of sounds like a Jedi, but Jedi aren't really a thing, you know? So it was kind of, yeah, it was interesting to have them, have these characters not know shit about Jedi, but, you know, us as the audience knowing exactly what Baby Yoda is, you know? We all know he's a Jedi, we know he's Force sensitive, so it was, ooh, it was fun. It was fun seeing these characters be like, having no idea what a Jedi was and just having no idea what Baby Yoda was either. It was so fun to watch that. I really enjoyed that that was like a theme throughout this season. It's definitely got me intrigued to see what happens, but like, I don't know, I'm not like invested in the characters a whole lot, you know, but like that could change. Let's see how the second season goes, you know? But yeah, so that's basically all I have to say about season 1 of The Mandalorian. If you guys have any thoughts and feelings about this show, share all that good shit in the comments down below. If you are interested in following me on other social media, I post art and cosplay related content on my Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, and Twitter if you guys want to get weird with me. So if you like this video, why not like, subscribe, and smack that bell if you'd like to see more of my face every Saturday when I post a new video. And don't forget to stay sparkly, my dudes!